Hi, this is Sharaz Walji from Astral Connections, and here with me I have Debra Taylor. Debra is a transformational specialist. Tell us, Debra, what's a transformational specialist?
Well, it's transformation specialist is what I call. It's okay, yeah, because the process is transformational.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and I chose it because it seemed to be, for me, just something that seemed a little more solid in what it is that I actually do, because I tried on, energy healer and healer of various different labels, and it didn't feel right to me. Okay. Because everyone is a healer.
Is a healer. Absolutely.
Yeah, it isn't really me. I'm like the channel.
Yeah, you're a facilitator.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah, so I specialize in helping people transform, and I do it in a variety of different ways, so that it applies not necessarily just to illness and disease, but other challenges in life.
So have you always been a healer, or was there a point in your life where you decided that you were going to do this?
I suppose it's always been
Naturally,
there.
you've always been there, of course.
Yeah,
But
so it's inherent in the nature. So, but there was a point
okay.
where I went, oh, maybe this is for me. Okay. And it actually occurred through a friend of mine who I'd had, we'd been a little estranged for a bit, and I hadn't seen her for quite a while. Mm-hmm. And then I ran into her one day, and the change was
phenomenal.
Yeah, I was like, who are you? Wow, it was like palpable, the change just in the energy, also in how she looked and handled herself. And I was, my goodness, what have you been doing? Yeah,
I want some of that.
Yeah, exactly, I want some. And she had been learning Reiki.
Okay.
The healing modality, and so I said, whoa, like, wow. I'd heard about it before, but it wasn't anything that really pulled at me. Mm-hmm. But this was so like dramatic, the change, and I went, okay, I need to explore, and I'm really kind of scientist at heart, so I need to try this, try that, let me see, experiment, see how it works out. And so she actually arranged for me to have a session with her Reiki master, and while she worked on me, we both got very clear that this was not the first time around for me.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because usually when we're attracted to something like this, chances are that it's been part of our past somewhere, somehow, right? Mm-hmm. And so, okay, let's just stick to this life for now.
Yeah.
But in this life, prior to that, did you ever find yourself dabbling in spiritual matters?
No.
No? No.
No.
So what did Debra do before?
I sold real estate.
Well,
I was in sales, and I had, I was totally just focused on career, and it wasn't until I started to practice the Reiki that it suddenly occurred to me what it was I had been doing all along, which was empathically understanding what was going on with people.
Right.
And so it made it really easy for me to do the sales, especially in the real estate, because I could feel
what it was they were looking for.
Yeah, if this was comfortable for them or uncomfortable, and at what point it became uncomfortable, and so I was doing it naturally, not consciously.
Right.
Yeah.
We all have that ability through sales, I would imagine.
Yeah, exactly. So through the Reiki practice, then I was able to be more conscious of it.
Right.
And go, oh, okay. I always thought it was me. I thought I was sick all the time, but there was never anything wrong with me. But I had all these aches and pains and problems and so on, right? But then I came to learn that I was just like getting it from other people.
Wow.
Yeah, I was very relieved at that, because I really thought myself quite sickly. Even though there was never anything we could do about it, and it just seemed to go away on its own. And
Of course, right? And then that's your first sign that, you're getting it from someone else and it's not yours to keep.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yes. And so I don't keep any of it.
So how do you enjoy being in the modality now that you're there?
I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the being able to to help someone through something that they thought was impossible, you know, like giving up all hope and there's nothing we can do, and then to just be able to move the energy in a way that all of a sudden everything's good and they're progressing and moving forward, and I get like a thrill out of that. Even as I was selling, you know, in sales, whenever the you know, the sale would happen and the people were so delighted, that was my reward. It was nice. It was nice getting the money too, because it was really good money in real estate. Right. It's a little more challenging to get it in the healing world.
Of course, yeah. So
know?
How did you transition from that income level to the healing Reiki income level? Like, how did you justify it?
Because it felt good.
It felt good.
It felt
it's
good.
It's amazing how that means so much more to us, the feeling, the good feeling versus in the end, that's what means the most to us, right? That good feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I just stayed with that, and I thought, well, you know what? I feel good. I feel like I'm helping. I can see that it's making a difference.
Yeah, and that's more important.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy. I was, you know, like, sure, I was making lots of good money, but I was incredibly stressed out.
Right.
Constantly, you know, running around putting out other people's fires and so on, right? Whereas now it's different. It's, oh, okay. Let's get to it.
And then, so then when transitioning from real estate to Reiki, it didn't take you long to make that transition, I guess. It was just a decision made, and
there was a step in between. I went from doing the real estate to working with people with mental illness and psychiatric disabilities and helping them find appropriate competitive employment. So I worked as a job developer, and I had a whole learning curve around mental illness and the various psychiatric disabilities and the challenges that people had in the workplace. And so it was from that and seeing how it manifests that I went, you know, maybe there's some other way that I can use this energy that I run, you know, to help people in a different stream, because it seemed to me that the way I help people with real estate was the same way that I help people with finding jobs. And so it's, you know, the same again with them managing their energy in a way that they feel, you know, vibrant and alive and hopeful. And
So then, if I may ask, you must have had many clients initially, or a few clients initially. Is there like a client that you recall that you helped transform in a huge way that, you know, sharing it with the audience would benefit them?
Well, I've had several. The one that came to mind just when you were speaking was a friend of mine who was in work that she absolutely hated, and it was nowhere near allowing her to bring her best to her work. And she really wanted to, she wanted to do psychic readings, actually, but she was afraid. She didn't really think that she had the skill. But the difference in having a conversation with her about the work she was doing and the work she wanted to do, it was like I was talking to two different people, completely two different people. She was lit there, and so working with her. And it wasn't really in any specific modality whatsoever. It really was a matter of me holding that intention for her, to feel it herself. That spark that was lighting up her eyes, because she wasn't really connected to it. And so I just had conversation.
Right.
And
it's amazing, because I know
then she
I've
stepped
worked
into
with
it.
NLP, and conversation is phenomenal how it can absolutely transform a person's reality.
Yeah.
Just
and
everyday conversation.
Yeah, so now she's doing, she's full-time doing psychic readings, and I think she's pulling in about $200,000 a year. And she had been working,
so that must have been a passion
for $10 an hour at her other job. And I'm like, whoa, aren't you a lot happier now? Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, I love that.
That must have been, that's rewarding too, right? when that
Yeah, to see someone be able to step in and really do what they're passionate about, and to know that I had some little, you know, part in that, I feel really good. I like
So
that.
then, when we speak Reiki, like the class you're going to give or the evening you're going to spend with us at Astral is going to be animal drum healing.
Drum journey, yeah.
So now you got to talk to me a little bit about that. How did it?
Yes. Well, it sort of naturally came up as I started to, like I said, I'm kind of scientific in my approach to things. And so as I was practicing the Reiki, then different animals with challenges would show up. And so I wonder what I can do here.
Elaborate a little, show up.
Yeah, they would just be there. Like someone would suddenly, you know, just start talking to me about their animal and that had this problem, and or I would be there visiting someone and their animal would be there and having troubles and they exhausted.
And you would see the animal, you would sense the animal, you would feel the animal, all of the above.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah. And so then I would just try, okay, well, let's see what we can do about shifting that, transforming. That's what where the transformation comes in, because it's all about energy. And when a person or an animal isn't well, it's because there's some energy stuck somewhere. It's not flowing freely. And it doesn't matter what kind of life form it is, it can be a plant even. It's all the same thing, right? So why not be able to apply the same kind of healing energy technique to a person or an animal and get similar results. In fact, better results from the animals, because they don't really want to hang on to their illnesses and their injuries the way people do. People get a lot of benefit out of being sick or weak. Or
Well, I don't know if they get benefit out of it, but they feel they do.
Yeah, in their minds they get this benefit because it gives them whatever it gives them, sometimes excuses to not participate in life. But animals are not like that. Animals are like, yeah, bring it on. And so they respond very quickly, and I love that. And sometimes what I found is that there's a route to the person through the animal, because people are more willing to spend money and time and energy on making sure that their pets are well rather than themselves.
Right.
And oftentimes the challenge that the animal is having is being, you know, it's a direct cause to the person, and a challenge the person is having.
Wow.
So in working through the animal,
just because there's a connection there.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
I call pets, I think that PET is an acronym for Personal Energy Therapist. I really do. I think we have the pets that we have in our life for a reason, just like we have the people in our lives for a reason.
Right.
There's
What's the
healing
acronym
going
for
on.
People energy.
Yeah. I can't say it on the
That's funny.
Yeah. So that's what would happen. The first animal I ever worked on was a cat. My girlfriend had this cat that was constantly licking fur, licking, had bald spot all the time, and quite often red and ugly, and she'd gone through everything that traditional veterinary medicine could offer. It wasn't helping, and let's give it a try. And so I did actually a distance healing, because she's in Ontario and I'm here in British Columbia. So I said, well, you know, let's give it a try. And 2 treatments is all it took for this cat to stop licking, and then not only that, become a much more friendly and loving animal.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
2 treatments, and this has been going on for years.
And you feel guided in your treating, right? Like, I mean, you know, when I watch a Reiki or energy healer, they're hands-on and they're moving their hands, and I guess they're moving their hands where they feel guided to move them, or do they move by themselves?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
And there's also, like, teachers of Reiki will say you need to be doing these various hand positions. So they're trying to cover all the major energy centers in the body, and that's fine if you don't maybe have a big powerful flow of energy. But when you do, it's not necessary, because you're actually pulled to the spot.
Right.
The energy connects, and what I love about the drum So we get back to the drum. What I love about the drum is that it also will tell you through the sound it makes, the various vibrations, as it's meeting the energy of wherever it's being directed, the sound changes. And so you can tell by how the drum sounds whether the energy still needs to come into harmony and balance. So as you literally feel the resistance of a blocked up energy through the vibrations of the drum. Yeah.
So does the sound, I guess, go higher in notes and lower as you go up the body?
Yeah. Well, not necessarily, but it's higher and lower based on the energy that it's meeting.
Because I know that, you know, the root chakra is Do and
denser
Re and Mi and Fa Sol La Ti Do. And
right, you got the whole scale.
You hold the whole scale there, so I would imagine that it would be lower, lower, and then higher, higher. But I guess it's not consistent.
It's not. It's more able to just plain read whether or not there's harmony in whatever area. It just knows there's an intelligence. Somehow in the drum, or through the practice or the ritual or whatever you want to call it of the healing drum, of beating the drum. And so sometimes they'll be really hard. I could feel my arm being pulled to the drum, and other times it's very light, and sometimes I have to put force to even get to the drum because there's so much resistance coming from the face of the drum that I have to push through it.
I thought it was just a sequence you were playing.
No. I'm not musical really, you know, as far as playing any instruments, so I couldn't keep a regular beat if you wanted me to. But it's a matter of just, I guess, just surrendering.
It's unfortunate you don't have your drum with you. We could play it.
We could. You'll have to come for the circle.
There you go.
Yeah. So she's not for entertainment.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Okay.
So then tell me, or tell the audience, I guess, when they come to the evening that you're doing the animal drum healing, what are they going to expect?
Okay. Well, they can expect to make a connection with an animal spirit. Now, it shows up in different ways for different people. But I have lots of friends. I'm really connected to the earth and to the elementals and you know, the animal energies, and so I'm an open channel for them. They're happy to arrive and be available for whoever's open to receiving some kind of assistance in some way. So I have rarely had a group that I've worked with in a drum journey to meet an animal spirit that hasn't had some
experience with
some direct experience. Sometimes it's just all of a sudden there's a kind of a knowing sense that they have, and others they've been on some kind of fantastic journey and been on, you know, in some major epic film. So I don't ever get that myself. I'm not visual. So I get the senses.
When their animal totems appear, can you clairvoyantly see them?
No.
No. Okay. But
no, I don't see. Yeah. Exactly.
But you can feel them.
Exactly. And so then it's through whatever particular animal shows up. They have their own inherent power that assists in certain ways for whatever it is that person needed at that moment in time. Sometimes who shows up is someone they already know, and they've been visited, or they've had this animal guide with them a lot
and not realize it,
or they have, but this is just who they, you know, interact with during the circle. But other times it's something completely different that they never expected, and it happens to be that that particular energy is what it is that they're needing right now to support them in whatever transformation they're in the process of. It's a change.
I know when I did the animal drum healing with you, there was this white lion circling me. So it was like, and like, you know, it's hard to imagine a white lion because normally they're yellow in color, right? So it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the white and
then finally it stopped and I was able to walk through, but it was circling me. Wasn't making any noise. It was very gentle and silent, but yeah, it was interesting.
Well, generally you have to look at that, you know, the color that shows up too. You know, it isn't just the animal itself, but they're going to be showing you other things. What are they engaging in? What kind of activity? Is there movement or not movement? Are they going from right to left, or you know, how are they showing up?
Right.
Every bit of it is part of the message that you're getting. You know, if you had a sense that just because they're looking at you, but they had some look in the eye that meant something, you know,
right.
then you internalize that. So what I do in the drum journey is bring them to this power,
yeah.
and have them make a connection with it, and then I'll do the healing circle.
Right.
And so that allows them to then internalize what that message was, and to really get it, you know, solidly. Oh, this is what that was, you know, saying to me, and how it will help. And I often feel better just by having that bit where they go, and they're good to go. And sometimes it triggers enough in them to say, oh, maybe I could use a little more help. Yeah, and so we do that sometimes too, but it's pretty amazing what the group together can produce.
Yeah, I've been in one of them and they're pretty amazing. Mm-hmm. Well, I've exhausted all my questions. Do you have anything you want to share with the audience?
What would I want to share? Well, my message as a transformation specialist is to help people to make the changes, positive changes in their lives, so that they have a lot less stress and more joy. Mm-hmm. And so what I would say to anyone is that if you're curious about whether or not a drum journey or a drum healing it could move you more into being that yourself, then
come on out.
Yeah.
Thanks, Debra. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.